everybody, welcome back to another episode of map making, where we make the water deep for our police procedural, starring some of our favourite Twitter shit posters. True to form, some technical issues have cursed our first few minutes. We're just going to get this webcam up and running. We'll hit that, and then we'll hit that, and theoretically, turning it off and on again has once again saved the day. Right, last we left, we had somewhat finished off this ground floor for the guard post, the oddly named City Watch head station in the Waterdeep's southern ward. And now we're going to start working on the first floor. We've got a few ideas already thrown up for things that we don't yet have. We have our interrogation room, our evidence locker, and a bunkhouse for people who need to crash the night after a long and potentially late shift. We're just going to start off by grabbing all of these. I should probably be starting from the bottom, to be perfectly honest. Do not select that. So, been slowly learning a few of the more funky commands, such as holding control down allows us to what would in other places be a shift click. And I successfully unselected everything. Good job, Mikey. We're off to a fantastic start. Once again, selecting that damn table. So we're going to just try and grab all of the external walls. I think I might have tried grabbing a few of the internal walls by accident. That's okay. We'll manage. We might miss a wall here and there, but that's okay too. Should not be too difficult to just... There's... Okay, I guess we won't be grabbing that one. Okay, that should probably be enough to be going on with for now. So we'll copy that and we'll hit the paste button and we'll see how much of it we successfully grabbed. That is not bad. We're going to move it over a little bit. I really don't like how this has been crammed up against those bottom lines. We are going to extend the map afterwards, but I'd still rather just have everything look a little bit neater. We'll try and align this with the grid as well to some point. So that needs to be about there. You know what? Screw it. We'll smush it up there a little bit. One of those spots where I feel like I need one of those I don't know what I'm doing .gifs. Quite confusing, but that's okay. We'll get it sorted very soon. About there ought to do us. Okay, now as we can see, we've got this space where the door downstairs was, so we're just going to copy and paste a longer piece up here. And grab one of these corner pieces, stick it in, and also again we missed This one was hiding behind some prison windows. Missed an entire piece here. That's okay. Yeah, weird. Okay, and this... I see. Okay, so we're going to need a little baby wall. We'll just grab this one, copy and paste it here, and maybe, just maybe, we'll work this little knobbly bit into the design somehow, or we'll just get rid of it altogether by shrinking it down. Now, these two extra support pieces probably still want to be in place because they'll shoot straight up from the ground floor. So we'll just, again, take a smaller piece, close that in. Now, one of the other things we can do is the top floor does not need to be an exact, the external wall of the top does not need to be an exact replica of the bottom. We can have two towers go up, for example, or we can have a balcony. Hello, hello, Lep. We are starting on the first floor of the guard post. We can, however, switch over to something else I've been working on, which is the Warden's Tower in Sethma's Court. So that could be fun. But this is, you know, I could see a little bit of. I could see a lot going on this map, so it'd be fun to get, or it'd be somewhere between fun and advantageous to get it out of the way. And then we might even take a pick, make some of the generic warehouses from the City of Splendors book, etc., etc. Sorry, not the City of Splendors, the City Systems box. So, I think first things first, we need to lay down some paint. And by paint, I mean floorboards. Still got our previous floorboards, which is good. Now, the whole thing up here can be floorboards. We're not going to put pavers, cobblestones, flagstones, etc. as a ceiling. So let's just go ahead and select all of that. Hit the apply button. And rinse and repeat. I gotta say, it has been quite fun working on some Sethma's Court maps in between. I own Tomb of Annihilation when I got word that they were re-releasing it with some sensitivity changes. I like to own the originals. Same with Curse of Strahd. I've got the original Curse of Strahd. I believe later prints will have some changes made to it based on an errata, but I haven't played it. No. Completely blank for a second. Ah, yes. Okay, so we need to grab these stairs. Don't do that. Grab these stairs again. Copy and paste. And that sits on about that line, and that smooshes right up against the wall. There we go. Okay. However, we need to turn this up to 100. That will probably be 90, so this goes down to 80. And now we can see the shadow of the stairs going down. Ooh, okay. Well, I do know that Tomb of Annihilation is pretty brutal. Anything set in Chult is going to be not on easy mode. So feel free. Don't think like you can't at any point just tweak combat, etc. on the fly, just for balance purposes. Make sure the ideal encounter for me is one where they survive by the skin of their teeth. Although it is fun to occasionally throw a battle at them that they can just have a bit of fun, skip through, knock everything on its head, get a sense of feeling absolutely badass. Yeah, I think we're just going to shrink this down for now. Have you done a lot of DMing before? Is this something you're going to be, is going to be a newer experience for you? I think I've recalled you DMing some stuff with Keegan, if I'm remembering right. Evidence locker thankfully can be a nice bit, and bunkhouse can also be fairly large rooms, kind of splayed out a bit. Yeah, you definitely, again, I think I've said I tend to discourage getting um, too into having backup characters, but yeah, there's something about just understand that this is not a forgiving campaign. Talk dumb, get the thumb. So I think we will have multiple interrogation rooms. Ideally, I would put the interrogation rooms up this end. So they're directly above the holding cells, which is great because this would be a really convenient location if it weren't for the fact that these stairs were damaged. So this, this is good. This creates a little bit of confusion. That's just all part of the story we'd have set out as part of this map. Now this circle goes on this line, good, and smush it up against the wall a little bit. Did we have one of these funky things? We did not. Okay. We'll have to think about if we want a little post in the middle, or if this is going to be one of those fancy open plan living style staircase arrangements. Okay. So you got a couple of casters. Well, it looked like so far you got 3 casters, although your cleric and pally can also double as tanks and bruisers. I think we're going to have a couple of interrogation rooms here. I'm multitasking my conversations. They're gonna need it. So let's start with the interrogation rooms, I guess. First things first, move that down to 10%. Are they 10%? They are 10%. I just need to make this a bit bigger. And we'll add an S on top of that. So we'll have them we'll have this label in a hallway somewhere. And I've seen enough police procedurals to know that each interrogation room needs 3 doors. Hallway to actual interrogation, hallway to people standing beside the one-sided glass, which in our case can probably be like an enchanted wall of some sort, and then a 3rd door depending connecting the viewing space to the interrogation space. I really like the idea of having an enchanted wall because it upends the trope of someone alone in an interrogation room sort of sidling up to the mirror like, I know you're behind there, because as far as they're concerned, this means for all intents and purposes they're just in an empty space. Ooh. Yes, I like this. And also, the balcony idea. Also, there's nothing stopping us from just, say, grabbing this piece and moving it. And then creating a balcony along here. So I'm entirely down for that idea. It's got to be a smoke break section. Smoke break is a time-honored tradition. Now, did I copy an internal wall? I did. Not a very big internal wall. I very much like that idea. Some sort of open space in the middle. I like, to my mind, the human brain is attuned to notice incongruencies versus patterns, but when a building is, or something in the wild is too perfect, it also sticks out. So one of the best ways, I think we talked about this last fortnight, was grime, was it, that OMG said? Grime is what we're looking for. Okay, so the Griffin Cavalry is... I don't know if the Griffin Cavalry belongs to the Watch, the Guard, or it may actually be a separate entity entirely. Regardless, I do like the idea that the Griffin Cavalry would still want or need somewhere to land when delivering messages, etc. There are also, if we go to Waterdeep Dragon Heist, there's a magic item that's essentially a paper airplane that's paper bird, wondrous item, uncommon. I show a picture there. It's very similar to what Tenzo does with his ghostly paper planes to cast the message cantrip. So even just a little landing platform for like dozens of those flying around the city would be great. So yeah, helipad for Griffin Cavalry sounds great, and maybe a little landing room space for processing paper birds would also be just an absolute winner. Yeah, that's too small. We'll just delete that and... Okay, yeah, we'll just move these down. They call it laziness. I call it efficiency. I want to move these down a wee bit. Now the observation rooms I think can be smaller than the actual interrogation space. Having said that, this is 25 feet. Now what's that in non-freedom units? 3 feet and change to a meter, so that's about 8 meters. That's not too bad. We could stick a table in there. So then we similarly put on... Now we're probably going to have to resize some of these based on wanting to fit 3 interrogation rooms. Yeah, so let's try making that 15 feet. That should about do it. We have some doors down here as well, don't we? Except I've already grouped everything. I have a love-hate relationship with groups on Incarnate, but that's okay. Let's just grab some doors. And you know, to my mind, there's also no reason not to just imply that ooh, I'm liking all of these ideas. So need to shrink. It's a bit. A 5-foot door is quite skinny here. We're just gonna pop that there, and then we'll make it a bit wider. We won't make it a bit wider. We'll make it a bit higher. How does that look? That not good enough. That needs to be. Let's try for 200. $250. Okay, those are some chunky ass doors, but so be it. I also like the idea of upstairs being a little bit more of a rabbit warren of doors and hallways. Place where newbies might get lost. Okay, so one of the best parts about interrogation rooms like offices, like the bullpen, we can reuse a lot of our assets. Not just out of being lazy, but out of the fact that you know, this is a corporate building. They're going to want to reuse. They're going to want to buy multiple things. That's an interesting question. I honestly hadn't thought much about that. I feel like a gym is something that might. You know what? Let's muck around with having a gym next to the sleeping area. What we can do is sort of cut off down here, so I put a wall across here. On top of the wall is more of a perp area. Between here and say, I don't know, down here maybe can be. I might be getting ahead of myself, but I like the idea of a bunkhouse, a gym, and then they can head down to the shower area underneath. This is mwah. I think we can make this table a little bit bigger. And we're just gonna copy and paste that into the different rooms. Again, they don't need to be perfectly lined up. That little bit of incongruence might sort of subconsciously indicate a different things having gone down in different rooms. So definitely here for that. And again, let's get some of these cheaper chairs. There so far are not firearms in Waterdeep, but one of the plot lines I'd like to introduce after the introductory chapters are done, when we start exploring more of the world in a more freeform style of campaign. That's what on earth? That's layer 1, but the grid's going. Oh, that's just weird. Oh, there's a little transparency there. So the more you know. Okay. Fantastic. We can also copy and paste this raft layout. Yeah, so I want to play around a little bit with the development of new technology. So there'll be the introduction of firearms, or if not firearms specifically, some sort of projectile device that, like. No, I think we'll go generally with firearms. Some sort of dwarven or gnomish or artificer setup. At which point, I think I do still very much want to, for now, focus on the idea of hand crossbows as sidearms. I want some gunfights with cover. I want to see the Wardens moving from cover to cover. I'm probably going to try and encourage that by having maybe some warehouse raids or some other sort of building raids where the enemies they'll be going up against will also be moving from cover to cover. Some people will lose their minds. I know firearms in D&D is a very hot topic, but to my mind, the whole purpose of having firearms in Law and Order will be part of the changing technology arc. The idea of a couple of artificers, industrialists, venture capitalists. So, firearms will still, for the most part, be a very rare sort of thing. It'll be very much about discussion on, does it level the playing field with casters, whatever. Okay, now I know these rooms tend to be quite narrow and there's not much in them. We should probably put some sort of magical effect on these walls. Just, even though they won't be visible from this side. Oh, we could have them just on the right-hand side of these walls to indicate that there's a viewing magic going on. So let's go back to our catalog. Nope, definitely arcane. Although we might wind up just using a simple new idea. Kill that. I'm going to do what's called a pro map making move. Simple lighting effects. I guess this one can work. We're going to drop that there. We're going to flip it over. We're going to make it a little bit more slender. And then we're going to go to the filters and we're going to change the hue a little bit. Now, blue, thanks to Magic the Gathering, tends to be tends to be a mind magic, illusion, clairvoyance. So we'll try a bluer hue and see how that goes. Maybe turn the brightness up. I think we'll leave the brightness alone. And then go back to transform. And make it a bit wider. Yeah, cannons is not a huge stretch, and I think that's why, you know, if we start with something like the arcane cannon, the artillerist artifice subclass specialist thing, that's probably not a bad way to go about it. And the discussion's really just going to be centered around, yeah, I just took it and I made it smaller. Maybe it uses a firebolt cantrip to create the propulsion system. I like the idea of playing around with how would I, using the systems available to me, create a cannon. Okay, so now we've got this notion that there's some sort of magical energy coming off the walls on that side. I think maybe we're just gonna slip a basic table in there. 4, 3, 2. Okay, so make that layer 2. Make that layer 1. Yeah, that's better. It's just somewhere where they can have their notes laid out for the case. Someone can be sitting casually on while the chief tells them to get their act together or hand in their badge. Maybe a couple of extra chairs. I think when it comes to any kind of fantasy setting, whether it's high fantasy, urban fantasy, whatever, the main key is just keeping it internally consistent. If you can show how some new fantastic thing would quite plausibly arise out of 133 changes. I'm going to give myself a save reminder. Yeah, if you can show how, you know, someone just took the idea of a cannon and made it smaller using a cantrip that you might find in a wand. They might actually have bored a hole and put the wand into the weapon itself, so it's not actually a handgun as much as it's just like a small shotgun style thing. People will be a lot more willing to buy that if you can show that you've put the thought in, and you can even drop hints about the way that it's slowly coming about, so that when it does show up, it's not coming out of nowhere. Yes. Average taxpayer. Yes, thank you. Handheld ballista. That's amazing. I mean, realistically, I think that's where our handheld crossbows came from. Trash can. We had... I think we were struggling with the idea of a trash can, but... let's try... let's try one of these. Yeah, Yeah, no, that's not nearly as good, is it? Let's go to the warehouse section. I have a thought. I'm going to try to turn this warehouse rack that'll do. Also now I've learnt if I hold shift and use the mouse wheel, I can make it bigger and smaller. If I hold control and use the mouse wheel, I can rotate it. Ooh, no kidding. I'll have a look and see if there are uh, existing strength requirements for it. Did you have to literally like grab the cable and pull it back, or did you have one of those levers that you put in and then it sort of uses physics to help you with the pull or with the draw? Okay, I think also I'm just gonna head down to the bullpen or the briefing room. I'm gonna grab a couple of these notes. Yeah, no, I like the idea, particularly with hand crossbows, of having some sort of little built-in lever that allows you to do a quick reload. Um, I'm kind of toying with the idea of a watch issue hand crossbow. Now I am gonna shift this over a little bit and drop it down one layer, drop it down 2 layers, and now it's just fallen down off the desk. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about creating a standard issue watch hand crossbow that has the capacity to reload as a bonus action, if such a thing doesn't already exist, because oddly enough, I have a hard time memorizing all of the equipment in the game. Um, yes, yes. Uh, Sort of a Gotham by Gaslight setup almost. Let's go back to our Victorian walls. Now, I think what we'll do is... Watch you, Boomerang. Struth, mate, you're under arrest! Oh, I'm here for that. Oh, my bad. That's me being a bit of an idiot. That needs to go there. And now... How the hell would I do that? See, you need to indicate that the floor drops away here. I'm gonna try some of those shadows that Keegan made and see if I can fit something. Let's try one of these. Actually, we want to turn that around that way and make it small. Now we're going to have to make it even smaller. If this works, it's going to be amazing. You know, I think we might just put a small banister there and then have the shadow sitting underneath it. Because, you know, they're just... I can already see where this is going to be a bit of a problem. Actually, no, it isn't, because I forgot we just used that to create the illusion of scrap stairs. Brilliant. That looks a bit ugly, but if I remember rightly, we can just grab this corner piece here, rotate it, pop it in there, put you down a bit, and, you know, from a distance, it doesn't look too bad. And now that I've actually taken the time and effort to do all of that, I'm just gonna delete them and put a big wall in. I'm fascinated with the idea of a bowler arrow. Save. Yeah, we'll go full green arrow on some perp. Now, do you have one? Yes, I'll take one of these, and that'll look just a smidge less ugly. I haven't watched the Green Arrow in a long time. I used to be a big fan of this CW verse, or the Arrowverse, and then I just sort of got to the point where it felt like I needed a spreadsheet to work out what order to watch each episode of what show in, and that was where I sort of left off. Oh, we do need to put that back here though, so everything I undid I'm now redoing. Now, we have benches downstairs, don't we? Yes. I grab this one, don't even need to... Yeah. Not gonna lie, I lost a little bit of respect for Stephen Amell when he jumped on the hyperwoke train. I don't mind people, I don't have too much of an issue with celebrities taking up causes, even social causes that I just don't personally agree with. when they start coming out with it, if you don't agree with me on this issue, then please unfollow me because I don't want your support. I don't want you being my fan. Like, I think Mark Hamill just made the news for ripping into some guy for wearing a Star Wars jumper. Like, you don't deserve to. You'll be smirched. Like, fuck off. You're an actor, okay? Like, have your cause. Reach out to people you disagree with, but you can't be telling people not to enjoy the media you produce. It just seems a bit rude. Just put some waiting benches there, and empty space. When all else fails, put in a fucking pot plant. This one can be just a little bit darker, maybe. Maybe it just doesn't get quite the same amount of love as some of the plants downstairs. Now we do very much so. Talking 6 different sentences at the same time. I think we're going to move the evidence locker down here. In fact, I think it's time to start working on that outdoor area. We do actually need to create a doorway, don't we? How about that? We're going to copy and paste down here, but again, talking about that incongruency. We're going to have the door move to the other side. And again, now that's interesting. I guess we'll move this. I guess we'll move these ones all over the place. I guess we'll move those ones there and that one up there a little bit. Nope, a bit more. There we go. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, so have it about there. That means, how are we going to do this? I think what I'm going to do is move that up there. Down there, and then so we're just going to stretch these out a little bit. Is it height? Yes, it is. So we'll stretch them both out by 10% just to make, oh, that means having one of these columns here and here. If needs be, what we'll do is have the corresponding columns. Oh! Brilliant! There was a tower here, according to the story a couple of weeks ago. So we're gonna take these and move it up to here, which means once again we're going back in and undoing the doing we did after undoing and doing that. think? Maybe. Here's an idea. Fireman pole. I'm down for that. Okay, that's that matched up. Put it back. You just know that Gabe's going to get drunk and start sliding down the pole. But that's okay, I'm here for it. But now we have a reason. That sort of makes that make a bit more sense. And we'll put another one. So this window is going to have to move up some. And bada bing, bada boom. There we go. That's so not right. That needs to go up there. But we'll move that there. And that's okay. That just means that this bookshelf comes down here. Gonna zoom right in because that desk's kind of complicated. Yeah, that looks alright. Move that in a bit. Now it's all matching. And what I'm gonna do is put another one there. Match this one up to that one, and then meow. Make everything make sense. Right. So we may end up just copy and pasting another layer down here, although we'll move that door. One of the reasons that big stone medieval doorways tend not to line up is to confuse invaders so that there's no straight lines as points of attack, which seems like an important thing to me. I could do with a small one to go here. I read that in a book back in high school or possibly even primary school. So, I'm going to move this down here, and what I want to do, first things first, let's okay, so I feel like I kind of do want floorboards, but I want them to be bigger, chunkier, more weathered, stuff that's been outside. I still feel like I want to stand by the whole we don't put stone, if we can help it, above other things. Is this what I've been using the whole time? It is. Okay, well, we will just... ugh. shift. Nope, still no good. God, that's frustrating. 60? Yeah, 60 might work. And then we're going to bring the brightness down some. And we're going to take some of the color out of it. And that should give us a nice weathered look. Now we select all of this and fingers crossed. I don't like it. I think it's just a bit too big, to be honest. Oh, that's the other thing I need to do. One and two and three and four. And we need to do something similar. So we go to filters, turn saturation down to 80 and brightness down to 80. And you know, I'm having conflict about whether I like this or not, and we'll just move this. They're all starting to fall out of alignment, and this is bugging me. That ought to do. Bunkhouse can be moved down there. If we're going to put a gym up next to the bunkhouse, maybe this can be an evidence locker. Maybe. That'll need to go a bit closer. I have no idea why there's a normal chair there, but we'll get rid of it. Oh, that's a panelled wall piece, derp. And we want a small panelled wall piece to put back. This stairwell has gone through many, many changes and alterations. That needs to go there. Actually, delete that. And get a single piece. And plonk him there. And, you know, I think we might actually be done with that. Okay. Yeah. I think we might need to get rid of the shadows on, at least on that side. I still don't like it. I think we're going to try some flagstones. Evidence locker with holding cells straight from. Yeah, look, this could work. It's going to be a bit of futzing around. Once we move the holding cells up to here and the interrogation down to here and the evidence locker down to there, my main issue here is I like the idea of being able to bring people straight off the street into the holding cells. I mean, the idea is that theoretically they should be able to just pull them out of the holding cells and go straight up these stairs, which is why renovation is obviously causing a huge problem. And I like the narrative of that. And I think it would also serve as a bit of an extra fuck you to the Wardens if the powers that be in the watch house clear all this out, get these stairs repaired, and then leave the rest of it butt ugly with shit everywhere. as a nice little reminder that they haven't made it yet. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So maybe. Yeah. We'll definitely want to move the evidence locker down here then, because we don't want evidence right next to perps. I am going to have another go at painting this area, but maybe with some darkened flagstones. Yeah, that could work. Let's try this. Yeah, that's got to be shrunk. Let's move that down to say 60. 50. Okay, this looks like it could work. Still gonna have to make these stand out a little bit less. Let's drop the brightness down to 70 and see how that looks. Wait, I just went down to 50. Herp derp. That's layer 4, that's layer. If we drop these layers down, does it just the shadow at all? Not really enough. Oh, you know what we don't have in here yet? Is a communal jail cell. The drunk tank, the processing spot, you had it, yeah, definitely. This is good. Is there a smaller one we can use? Not really. If I line it up well enough, no one will know the difference. What would a water cooler look like in Waterdeep, though? Herein is the question. What I'm going to do is take one of these tables, spin it around 90 degrees, put it up here, then we're going to bring down the brightness, bring down the saturation, and then transform it into a wall bench. Morning, Frank. Morning, Ralph. Tell me that joke did not just go over everyone's head. Even if it did, I need someone to tell me they got it so I don't feel old. Water fountain, water fountain. Interesting question. I think what we'll do is we'll create like a secondary processing area in here. So we're gonna borrow a little bit from that room down there. We'll just move it around ever so slightly so it still looks a little bit different. Now obviously that does not fill this area nearly well enough. What are we thinking here? First things first, we'll just put a couple of doors. Couple of doors, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's go have a look through our catalog and see what fun... That's not it. Let's go have a look through our stamp catalog. See what comes to mind as a water cooler. Thank you, Lep. Thank you. In fact, I'm almost tempted to make a couple of night guards, a night guard and a day guard, called Hank and Ralph. Quite possible it's going to have to be like a metal basin with some water in it. It could just be like an alchemist's jug set to pouring water out. Ooh, I have a thought. That's very big, but if we shrink it down, we might almost be able to turn this into a literal fountain for drinking. You just shrink it down a bit. And pop one of these tables. Shrunk down next to it. With some cups and mugs and shit on it. So back to our stamp catalogue. And we'll put random stamps on and go 1 and 2 and 3, and everybody else really should be bringing their own mugs to work occasionally. And we're going to put a copy of this in we're going to put it right here. Degrees has got to be one of the weirdest angles I've ever seen. 175 maybe? Still makes very little sense to me, but we have our water cooler for awkward conversation. How about that, how about them Temple Ward team up there in the Field of Triumph, huh? Another smashing idea from the chat. I want to change this up again as well. Maybe this could be a good spot to use those nasty looking floorboards. That are still way too big. Is it possible to rotate? Oh yes, I would like those floorboards at 90 degrees, please. Genius! Now, I'm not gonna lie, I totally want to put a big G or like a griffin head painted onto the floor. Let's see if we can do something cool as like land here. I have no idea where to even look. I'm thinking it's gonna want maybe one of those round arcane light, one of these sigils as like a, you know, it lights up at night time for people to. Long hallway rug. Yeah, I like that. Good. Let's go do that now before anything else. I think it's carpet. Might actually. So carpet does something now, but I think it is rugs. Yes. I mean, we can change the color as we want. So let's focus more on the patterns. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting really fucking good at this spacebar, shift, hotkeys, whatever. It's just saying. Oh, you know, that rug might also bring out the interrogation room labels a little bit, so I'm here for that. I think it is going to be height. Let's make that 200%. I don't like what that does to the pattern. Let's make that 150%. And then rinse and repeat. Now, if I... Okay, so those two are lined up right. Now all three are lined up better. Here's a thought. If we rotate that 180 degrees, now it really does look like a repeating pattern. Life is good. And now we'll shift those a little further that way, and let's take the interrogation rooms label and stick it down over the rug. Beautiful. And just for good measure, let's stick one of those down there. This is a green workplace. I do, however, think we'll see about changing up. Let's futz with the colour a little bit. We want more of a green and gold motif if we can manage it. That's a cool looking blue. I'll remember that for later. On account of the watch's colours are green and gold. Let's put a couple of... let's take this bench and this bench. And I'm going to copy and paste them over here as sort of a... not like that. As a sort of a waiting room, waiting space for Griffin riders, etc. Except these are going to be a little bit nicer and cleaner. Oh, look that. It is an avian sort of creature, isn't it? I have still been trying to see if there's a way to, I don't know, work the logo into the actual world somehow. That would be kind of cool to do. When in doubt, stick a freaking pot plant in it. I think I'm going to leave that for now. We'll come back to it in a little bit, maybe. We'll go back to the stamp collection, stamp catalog. Stamp catalog's a little bit frozen. Fantastic, there we go. Actually, before I go any further, 225 changes. This is your save reminder. So how's everyone feeling about Septimus Court? Anyway, I have some thoughts about how last week went. I'm genuinely pretty happy with the absolute range of tones we got. Interested to see how people in the audience took that. What on earth was that? Rabbit poop. Yeah, no. Oh, if there could be like a top-down bird with its wings outstretched, and then ooh, yes. Bear with me, I did just put a very large fuck off horse on the roof. Have an idea. Animals, if I can find something with wings. Are you telling me there are no birds? I might just have to upload some. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I will make a custom Griffin cavalry like logo badge, and we will upload that next week. So I was hoping I could stick a horse down and then like an eagle over the top of it and blend the two together somehow. I don't think that's going to happen. But we do definitely want some of those animal trophy goodness. What else is that? Giant crocodile head of some sort? Funny thing is, this thing could be enchanted with magic eyes to like detect magic item or something similar. In fact, a small little device in each room that would cast Zone of Truth would be an absolute banger of an item to put in each of these interrogation rooms. Also, I kind of like the idea, now that you got me onto it, Lev, is... Oop. The bear room. The stag room. And the ballroom. I like that a little bit smaller, but not like a whole lot smaller. We'll move these chairs away a little bit. As a way, instead of like 1, 2, and 3, we can have bear, boar, and hart, or frickin' buck. Bear, boar, and buck. This works. So first things first, let's sort this damn stairwell out. I'm gonna grab one of these short boys and pop him there. Now if I go back to my stamps, do I still have... No, I don't. Yes, I do. Interesting. So when I have that selected, it goes back to the... I should probably finish the sentence before I start 6 more, hey? Them, I need you to be just a little bit shorter. Perfect. Now if I could have a corner, please. So I can already see an evidence locker sort of forming. And again, it doesn't have to be too big in this instance. The any serious evidence, or maybe every 3 months or so, all the evidence might get carted up to the castle. This is really just a local headquarters. I don't look forward to the day I decide to have a crack at creating Waterdeep Castle. But thankfully, in that case, I do have the city system box to give me a lot of information about how that looks. And I need one more small boy, please. Can you, sir, please just... Yeah. Go there. Better. Okay. So I'm thinking we'll put the bunkhouse down here and the gym up here. So let's just copy and paste that and go. Gymnasium, Greek, meaning naked building. Probably work out why fairly easily enough. But the question is, do the Waterdehavians train gymnos? Okay, let's stick one of those there. Whatever. Oh, we might not even need one of those fancy little connector pieces. Okie dokie, this works. Now, how do we want to do a bunkhouse? Do we want like dormitories? Do we want a massive open space? I don't like the idea of a massive open space, to be honest. I think I like the idea of dormitories that people can just come and go from. And I do think we might want another bathroom arrangement up here. Otherwise, you got people coming and going through the main trafficked area, past the bullpen, all of that, coming and going from the showers, which is, you know, not ideal. So we'll go ahead and stick a smaller bathroom arrangement up here, even if it's just another shower room and a toilet room. Oh, okay. One moment. I think for now I'm going to work on the gymnasium. Before we started on the gym, I realized that we had a little bit of an issue going on here. I think what we're going to do is just make that go a little bit higher. Your slider is lifting me higher. And then we're just going to put some shadow along here. Ow. Thanks to these handy dandy shadows that Keegan has uploaded, we will use some of these corner pieces, I think. Let's move that, make sure it's on layer 0. There's going to be some overlap. I'm entirely okay with that. But I like the way it sort of comes in the corners. down a bit to make sure that shadow is covering more of the more of that area. And now we just need to put a little black spot in here somewhere. Actually, we should probably rename these at some point so they're not just a string of numbers. Wonder if it's possible to do that from here. Rename. Okay, good to know. I think we're actually going to stick with this one for now though, and zoom way in. Shrink it right down. We're going to have to shrink it down even more. No, I think maybe we'll just take that standard. Drop the brightness down to 50. Click and drag. Apply. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Not freaking bad. We have a break room, but we're also going to have to include, and I'm going to copy and paste, so bunkhouse, bathroom block, ignore that, and kitchen. We need another kitchen to go, so all of this realistically is just going to be living area. That might be a next week job. I can't wait to get into this gymnasium. We're going to need to find some, either a cool funky floor. Actually, before we do that, oh, that looks kind of ugly. That's better. What on earth is going on right now? You know, I'm going to design a t-shirt which is just going to be a half-made map, and it's going to have the words hashtag save reminder afterwards. Copy. Paste. Much better. Because, you know, I feel like the gymnasium could still be enclosed like that. Rather than just have people walking straight in from this balcony area. Now we kind of want either some funky flooring or we want to put down mats. As always, back to the catalogue. We could use these rugs. We'll just put a little bit of texture around them if possible or necessary. Well, that's only 10 feet by 10 feet, so 3 meters by 3 meters, not really enough. Let's have a roughly 20 feet by 20 feet area for some sparring. In fact, if we make that the centerpiece, stick that word gymnasium right in the middle. Now, do we have dummy? Mummy. Target? Target dummies. Oof, that's big. Okay, now what might sort of indicate weights or some other cardio activity? Oh, we have weapon racks as well. Let's see what sort of weapon racks we have. I mean, I'd prefer them to be sort of blunt instruments, but a sword rack could work. Solid point, taxpayer. They do really just have to be dull. Hopefully, unlike the stream. Done deal. Okay, I'm gonna move these across a little bit so that they sit a little more square with this mat in the middle. Now, I wonder if we could have like a roped off section, sort of like the octagon, the cage, you know. I believe we had something like that when we were making the Roaring Horn Manor. I'm not going to go open the Roaring Horn Manor at the moment, but let's try fence. Rope fences, maybe. Rope fences are good. Now what we could try is get a little bit of careful cheeky overlap. Better. Excited for next week's, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. We got had a right word with RRDJ, aka Ryan, who just was so generous in supporting our cast last week, and we've got some, just to talk about what we would throw at our Wardens next episode. It's going to be fun, it's going to be creepy, it's going to be a little bit disturbing, everything that makes for a great D&D session. Okay, so now we got the two corners. We might even see if we can put a little flag or pennant or something, so we got the red corner and the blue corner or something like that. Or the green corner and the blue corner, because, oh, the green and the yellow, the watch colors. Okay, that second coffee's kicking in. Flag? You got a flag for me? Bunting flags? Okay, I'll keep that in mind, but no. Curtain? This could be made to work. Okay, I'm going to try and drop a much smaller version of this. Actually, if I put that there, and we'll go down to filters first, and I want to make a much stronger green color. I need my numbers to be even, or else I get irked. Can we also get a slightly better green? That's as green as it's getting. Now, if I go to transform and take that shit out of the height, with some of these you get this cool little optical illusion like you're just tilting it up and down, which works for me. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste that. And it's going to sort of hang the same way, like they're both draped over the thing. Actually, no, because we're going top down, so we could probably afford to just flip that, I guess. There's the flip. And go back to filters, show me a good yellow. They are not yellow. Green, orange. Sir, where is the yellow? It's somewhere in the minus 38, minus 40. I bring the brightness back up. Hey. Let's just try an even 100 and see what that looks like. Done. We have the green corner, we have the gold corner. Just to make it a little bit extra, we're gonna have them on both of these corners. We might even, nope, flip it that way a little bit. Right. Now members of the watch can sort out their differences the old-fashioned way. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab one of these dividers we've been working with and stick him up there. Ew, that's going to have to be a wee bit thinner. Is it width? It is width. let's go ahead and make an absolute occupational health and safety workplace hazard fucking nightmare. I'm here for it. Not text. Target. Oh, actually, if I bring that forwards a little bit, show me. Hey. They were not completely stupidly dangerous here. We have our hay bales to stop errant arrows. They can sort of be piled a little bit messily. Get that sense of slight chaos about it. And now I need this target. And we'll move that up to layer 3. Yeah, that should work. It sort of looks like it's hanging up from that. I think we'll do sort of what we did with the dartboard downstairs and shrink the height a little bit so it looks a wee bit more top down. And oh, let's see if we can get empty weapon rack. Tuck him in here, down at layer 2. Now, we have excellent. We have longbows and we have crossbows. And while ordinarily they would sort of appear in the weapons rack, they can be a little bit messy in terms of the having not been put away. Just to create, is that a whip? That is a whip. That's going in a bedroom somewhere, don't you worry. Just to create that visual cue of, yes, this is an indoor firing range, because we do things safe here at the Watch. Now, let's look for, on a hunch, I'm just going to say show me iron, no, metal, gonna have a couple of these scattered around. They're just gonna be, you know, like little exercise things. They're CrossFit. A vegan, a CrossFitter, and a militant atheist walk into a bar. We know this because they fucking told everyone. Now, I really don't think weight is going to bring any results, but no, okay. Bar. Oh, I mean, honestly, yes, sort of. Let's go grab some of these benches. Sort of a fill in the blank thing, but We'll put one right here for the people with an absolute fucking death wish. um, don't mind me. That coffee. Whee! Okay. Honestly, I think that's not a bad little gymnasium. Rope for skipping. Rope for skipping? You got it. Let's fucking go. Let's see what we got in the way of rope. And even if it's not for skipping, depending on what sort of rope, we get coils of rope. It can be some of those weird things you see them doing in the gym. That hurt. Probably shouldn't have done it like that. Sometimes you forget that you're a fucking cripple. I'm gonna take this rope and I'm gonna shrink it down a little bit, and I'll put them in the cardio section. Hey, I'm loving these ideas. Bring them in. Keep them coming. What are you thinking, Lep? What sort of completely inappropriate, anachronistic, police gym bullshit? I wish we had punching bags, but I don't really see anything that could be used as a punching bag yet. Fucking Lenore. What is that? Oh, it does. Okay, it looks like a scarecrow because it is a scarecrow. Derp derp. Okay, I know that says horse equipment, but you're seeing them football players. Oh, that's needs to be a touch bigger. That needs to be a touch smaller. Doing that weird thing where they run in and out of the frickin' rope ladder on the floor. Footwork, yes, because you know you got to be light on your feet. Move that down here a little bit so someone's got room to swing a sword without cutting some poor fucker's head off. See, the lines of the grid and these lines here on the texture are fucking with it. You know what? Let's just turn this whole thing 90 degrees. And just move it down here. Can you believe it? We just made a footwork ladder out of fucking horse tack. That's what it's about, ladies and jelly beans. Okay, that's a pretty fucking swish-looking gymnasium. Let's lay out our bunkhouse, even just some internal walls. Bathroom block's gonna need to be up against one of these stone walls. Let's stick it. You know what? I'm thinking, right? Where is the sounds of grunting and splashing not going to disturb people downstairs? And the answer is, fuck the public. We'll put it above the waiting room reception area. I'm sorry. I don't think it's entirely the coffee. I think I've just partially lost my mind. So be it. We're gonna copy part of the design here. In fact, we might even grab some of this stone. We're gonna miss the drain pipe, but that's okay. See if we can quickly find... I think it's sewer grate, something like that. Wowzers, this is a mess. I probably should get more used to working with groups. Well, we're definitely in the bullpen now. Add the whirlpool. We just sat and scrolled a long ass list because you forgot where your metal sewer grates were. Copy. We're just going to paste it right here in the middle. Okay, so let's move this whole arrangement down here somewhere. In fact, we might even be able to squeeze it over the top of that one. We will want some of these dark pavers. And gonna want to take these three shower heads and pop them down here. And take this little barrier here. They call it a hod. Ask me how I know. I nearly drowned once because passed out in a shower and the hod was quite high. And you know what? We can definitely give people showering a little bit more space. Communal nudity is one thing. Enforced physical intimacy, quite another. I can hear Mayrose now. Alright, strip off in front of these fuckers. But I'm not standing right next to that one's cock. True story. Let's get a baby wall, I guess. Oh, this one will do nicely. Why go back to the stamp catalog when you can just bink? And we're just gonna go ahead and grab these fellas here. Actually, we might even fit them down in there like that. Oh, that's bad. Why is that bad? Because whoever's shitting here, everyone in the shower has a front row view. So we're going to see if we can just flip the entire group. We cannot. That's less than ideal. Okay, so we're going to rotate. I guess we're losing one of the loos. That's okay. And then we'll take these three. Chuck them down here. Like so. And honestly, I still feel like we want more pavers. I just realized those are some big ass fucking flagstones, so we're gonna try and shrink them down a bit. And let's do that and that. And nope, needs to be a lot smaller. Size can come down to, let's try 30. Yeah, that's better. And then we're just going to grab this little hod here and stick another one right there. But we're going to move the brightness down. Actually, no, we'll turn the... I have no fucking clue how I want to do that. Whee! In fact, if I turn this upside down... put it back to 90. But if we turn this one back to 0... Okay, that's interesting. So we're sort of getting this fancy effect like we're stepping down a couple of inches at a time. First into the toilet and general area, and then into the shower section. Something else we can probably do is those ones are too long. We're gonna get some of these benches and stick a couple here, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that same thing with saturation and brightness. Turn them down to 80. Essentially, we're just making it a little bit more dull to give it that sense of being washed out by time and moisture. Timber very quickly loses its sheen and luster when it's left out in the weather. Ask me how I know. Grew up on a farm. My dad used to do a lot of projects around the place. He used to start a lot of projects around the place. Well, good question, taxpayer. One of the reasons I like to put my toilets, as you'll see, up against these stone walls, or very close to, even with these drains being very close to stone walls, is the idea that there can be pipes in the thick stone walls. So, yes, theoretically, people are taking a shit and it goes down into the waiting room, but what it would be doing is being fed into a single pipe somewhere in this wall either side of the window. So some poor bastard sitting here and there's just turds just being washed down behind him. He has no idea that's how we like it. Yes, yes. And then from there, obviously, it can go down into a sewer system underneath. Yeah, and I will check the Water-to-Havian sewer system maps. Yes, they exist. But whichever poor bastard winds up waiting here, everyone's looking at him like, dude, you reek. What did you eat? It's Friday. It's not the day after Taco Tuesday. Um, the kitchen's definitely going to have to be away from. We might even put the kitchen up in here. With a couple of solid walls. I'll take one of these funky L-shaped pieces, thank you. There's no direct line of air current from the shitters to the kitchen. This is important. And then I think we'll grab one of these long fellas and sort of move it to about here. Just to create a bit of a hallway. We got a shorter boy. Let's put him here. Oh, look at that. Perfect. And then we can start setting up hallways and shit for a bunkhouse in here. Okay, so that's just a little bit over 2 hours. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna move this down so it matches up with that a little bit and take some advice from, I believe it was Lep. And we're gonna take this carpet and get rid of that one. Oh yeah, they do line up. And put that along there. Now, before we finish up, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete these walls because we have... Where did I put them? We have slightly more fortified, shall we say? Ugh, what happened there? We have slightly more fortified walls here. And I believe that an evidence locker probably should have a little bit more fortification between it and everywhere else. Let's try an even 30. Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and change that wall to have a little bit more fortification to it. Just seeing now there's a slight gap between that. Yeah. Slight gap between that shadow and the wall. Can't have that. We definitely don't want an evidence locker that can just be busted through. Where someone can just bust through the walls. That won't do at all. Drop that down to layer 3 so it's behind that main, the exterior wall. And do we have a corner cleaning piece thing? No. Fuck you. Okay, well I guess we'll just put that there and put another 5 points of size on it. these, I feel like these don't need to extend up or down. Oh, I have no doubt that at some point these guys are going to have to run a heist inside the watch post, and I am so fucking looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be trying to write a plot line which will involve running like an Ocean's 11 on the watch itself. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so yeah, that looks a bit better. I feel like this is an evidence locker. I would feel more confident trying to leave secured evidence inside. Just put a little bit more reinforcement there, just because it looks a bit naked, that long stretch without one. That's 3:30. That's a 2-hour stream. I'm very happy with that. My mind's all over the place. I want to see if we've got any of these little pillars. We do. I'm just gonna shrink this down a little bit and plonk one there and one there. And now I'm curious. Now I'm curious to see if there's any other places where I should stick them. They would actually go very well right here on these intersections. Isn't that how it is? You work out, you have a little bit of inspiration, and you're just rushing off to get it implemented as soon as possible. Now I know we got more of this paneled stuff down here, so we're going to have to shrink this down a wee bit. That looks like it would be good. And we're going to stick them there in the doorways. Same goes here. I have made a lot of changes, and I should consider saving my work. And I will save my work after 1 and 2. I think we're good. I think we're very good. That's a good amount of progress for today. I'm very, very pleased with it. Let's go ahead and don't put the message telling me to save over the save button. I'm definitely going to do a map maker's jumper with hashtag save reminder or save check or something like that. Intelligence check versus intelligence save versus lost work. All right, so that's a large portion of the first floor done. I'm gonna try to knock up a Griffin cavalry insignia to have nice and glowing on the floor there for next week. Probably will forget about it until the morning of, because that's just how my chaotic brain seems to work. But yeah, this looks really good so far. Quick. Nope, I've already showed everything else off in the stream, so I think we're going to leave that here. Again, thank you, especially huge shout out to Lep and Taxpayer for some incredible input and just being here and being chill. So I'm going to go get some rest, get back to doing a bit more writing. We're developing the Church of Joaquin a little bit more for Renezuo / Charise. And we will see you all on Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon for the next episode. And as always, never forget, all watchmen are bastards.